Race dreaming. They won it by 4 in the end.
American Anthem has taken off. American Anthem easily in the Woody Stevens.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Spa Babies, presented by WinStar Farm. I'm Dan Illman, along with Nicole Russo, and let's take a look at the field for Thursday's Spa Baby race. It's the 5th at 6 furlongs for New York-bred maiden special weights. As you see by the entry card, WinStar Farm very well represented. The number 1 looking ready, part of an entry, 3-1 on the morning line. The 3 Painter's Prize from the first crop of WinStar Stallion Painter, and on the outside, the number 11 on the also eligible list is scrutinized by WinStar Stallion Overanalyzed. Let's begin with that number 1 looking ready, Nicole. I look at this distance, and I know More Than Ready can get him to win first time out, but maybe this horse might want a little bit longer.
Yeah, I think definitely, as you pointed out, More Than Ready, a top 22-year-old sire, very good with these good, quick horses. On the female side, though, you've got a Giants Causeway mare who won at age 3, the second dam Seeking the Pearl, a Group 1 winner going longer in France and Japan. She produced multiple Group Stakes winner worldwide, Seeking the Dia. Taken all together, it looks like a distance pedigree and perhaps more like a turf pedigree. We certainly know that More Than Ready can get you a nice turf horse. This one, though, did run a good third on debut on the main track in the same race that the 5-2 shot that we'll talk about a little bit later comes out of. Gets Javier Castellano back aboard, which I've got to think is encouraging. And this one could offer a little bit of value if you do think that favorite is formidable.
And this horse did take a lot of money first time out in a 10-horse field of babies, bet down to 8-5 favoritism. And as you mentioned, he certainly ran okay, and we've talked about it perhaps all summer long here on Spa Babies, that these experienced horses really have an edge over many of the first-time starters. I agree with you. I think Looking Ready might be primed for turf down the road, but I think he fits in this spot, especially with Javier retaining the mount. The number 2 is Royal Power from the first crop of Kentucky Derby winner Orb. This horse sold for $175,000 as a yearling. I look at this pedigree and I wonder, there's some turf here, and we know that Orb, his runners have done well on turf so far.
Yeah, they definitely have. Orb never ran on turf himself, but was so good on a wet track. His sire, Malibu Moon, kind of gets all types. So Orb has been throwing some turf runners. The Damn Black Escort is by Southern Halo, who's actually More Than Ready's sire. That's where some of his turf prowess comes from. The dam of this one was a stakes winner in France, the dam of 2 stakes placed runners. Looking back in the pedigree, I see a French champion. I see some steeplechase horses, which to me is always a sign of stamina in the family as well as turf ability. This one was 4th on debut in on a sloppy track that was taken off the turf. So that to me indicates that the connections think that this one belongs on turf. Gets a bit more distance here, which he'll probably appreciate, but he probably will be better going even longer. And this is another one, as you know, we've confirmed, a surface switch might be in order down the road.
He does add blinkers for a very good trainer in Gary Gullo, and like the number 1 Looking Ready, took a good amount of money for the career debut on a sloppy track. I'm a little bit concerned about him breaking from the rail. Can be sort of a claustrophobic and intimidating place for an inexperienced 2-year-old. Royal Power is a kind of horse maybe I would use on the bottom of single race exotic wagers. The 3 is Painter's Prize. Let's talk about first crop sire Painter, who of course stands at WinStar Farms. Gotten off to a little bit of a slow start, 0 for 8 with 2-year-old first-time starters, but I think the Painters are going to improve with distance down the road.
I think they're very much going to improve with distance and with experience. Painter, of course, really started coming to a hand kind of in the spring of his 3-year-old year, and then ran so well in the Belmont and won the Haskell. So I really think that these are going to be horses that continue to improve as they get into their careers. The dam of this one was a stakes winner at Finger Lakes, so maybe a little bit of speed on the bottom side there.
Yeah, a little bit of speed. The dam, a stakes winner, as you mentioned, in New York. Dam also a half to a multiple stakes place sprinter named Desert Steel. The second dam was fairly precocious, stakes placed on turf at 2. Workouts look good. Trainer Charlie Baker is having a really nice meet, clicking at 30%. This horse is 15-1 on the morning line. Jose Ortiz takes them out. He's certainly usable at a price. The 4 is Rollo Lothbrok by Posse, and as we know, Posse can get a good dirt sprinter.
Very much so. Posse's been the sire of horses like Champion Kodiak Cowboy, Caleb's Posse, who won the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile and ran so well against a number of good sprinters, really kind of an underrated horse. Of course, Posse's got standout Mind Your Biscuits out on the track right now. And Rollo Lothbrok looks like he's inherited some of that speed. He comes in off a very decent work.
Rollo Lothbrok, yes, a very nice workout, a half-mile breeze in 48 and change. The dam won 5 races. She was solid. Bruce Brown-trained horses, though, usually need a race or two before they find their best stride. Rollo Lothbrok, 20-1 on the morning line. The number 5 is Panama Ed. Panama Ed is by Bluegrass Cat, and Bluegrass Cat is surprisingly capable with his 2-year-olds.
Yeah, he really is, considering that he developed a little bit later, was a really good 3-year-old himself. He's been a sneaky good 2-year-old sire over the course of his career. He's produced horses like 2-year-old graded winners Saber Cat, Cathman Blue, and the dam of this one was very productive as well. She had 10 wins running from ages 2 to age 7, but her 3 winners so far, some from this same sire line as Bluegrass Cat, have developed a bit later. So kind of an interesting profile on this horse who's run a couple of interesting races.
This is one of the old Andy Beyer angles where a horse shows improved speed the second time out, often an indicator that he's figuring it out. Panama Ed did not break well in his career debut at Belmont, was given Lasix for start number 2, showed much improved speed, and might be a player at a price considering his experience, 8-1 on the morning line. The number 6 is Seafoam, and Seafoam has a very classy pedigree. I just can't get over the fact that, to me, this is a turf route pedigree.
Very much so. Medaglia d'Oro is grade 1 winners on both turf and dirt. So the female side, I think, is what you need to look at here. And he's really crossed with a turf pedigree here. The dam is turf grade 3 winner Strike It Rich. The second dam, Belle of Parentown, was a grade 2 winner on dirt, but most of her foals have run well on turf. So I think when you're putting Medaglia d'Oro, whether you're putting him with a turf pedigree or a dirt pedigree, I think that's the indicator. And I think this one might just be in here for the experience, because these are the sort of races you find carded at this time of year, and that the future for him might be on the turf down the road.
Perhaps one to keep an eye on as he stretches out in distance, maybe switches to the turf, perhaps at Belmont. The number 7 is Smokin Platinum, and Smokin Platinum really ran well first time out. This is a $130,000 2-year-old at the April sale. He's a half to a multiple stakes place sprinter named Roaming, who ran well on synthetic. This horse is bred to sprint, and as we've seen, Mission Impassable has been firing on all cylinders with his 2-year-olds.
Yeah, he's really been a strong addition to the New York stallion market. He led the freshman sire standings last year. He's leading New York's juvenile sire standings this year, and he's actually in the top 10 nationally. Just recorded the first graded stakes winner of his career with Pure Silver winning the Adirondack last weekend. Unbeaten filly has just been running them off their feet. These sure have speed. The dam of this one by Smoke Glacken definitely sharpens that up even more. And Smokin Platinum showed speed on his debut when he was caught late, second beaten 3/4 of a length. We've already mentioned that the horses with experience seem to have an edge in these maidens this meet, especially if their races come over the track. I think this is a unique track this meet, and that experience here might be important.
We're going to take a look at Smokin Platinum's career debut. Let's be mindful that he broke from the outside post, and Joel Rosario, instead of being hung 4 wide entering the turn, decided to go. And he might have moved a little bit early, and he opened up a lead at Smokin Platinum. He's on the lead in the white cap right now, only to be run down by a well-meant first-time starter in Alvinu Malcano. Now, a lot of New York fans might not be familiar with Bart Hone's work, but he is a stalwart trainer in the Southwest and in the Midwest during the summers. He sent in some horses this year at Saratoga. He does well second time out. And Smokin Platinum, if he runs back to his debut Beyer of 74, well above par for this level, is likely going to win this race. One thing to keep in mind of is I have a feeling he was really cranked up to win first time out. And a lot of times these horses might take a slight step back in their second start after being really well meant for the debut. But this horse is an extremely logical contender. The 8 is Perfect Expectation. If you just want to talk about a speed-on-speed pedigree, here it is.
Very much so. The sire Majestic Perfection was a standout dirt sprinter, a Grade 1 winner at Saratoga himself. His best runner to date is actually Kentucky Oaks winner Lovely Maria, but I think he can certainly get you some speed. The dam here, a winner at 4, so she was a bit later developing, but she's a half-sister to another very good sprinter, Black 17, who I think is a bit underrated and forgotten, won the Grade 1 Vosburg, really fast horse.
Really fast horse, Black 17, a lot of class, a lot of ability at shorter distances. And you mentioned Majestic Perfection, who was a very brilliant sprinter in his own right, and he's hitting with a very good 15% with his 2-year-old first-time starters. The 9 is Bust the Bell. This one is by Tuffelsberg, a horse that was very fast. He sired a very fast horse in Trinaburg, but Bust the Bell is going to have to run much faster than he did over a wet track on July 24th.
Yeah, just outrun, finishing 9th on debut here. Definite juvenile ability on the sire side of the pedigree, as well as on the dam side. The dam is by WinStar's good juvenile sire, More Than Ready. She won at age 2 herself. Bust the Bell is going to have to improve a lot, but the ability is definitely in the genes if he can put it together.
30-1 on the morning line for the 9, Bust the Bell, Rosario Montañez, listed on the mount. We do have a formulator fact, though, for Bust the Bell's trainer, Randy Persaud. If you like this horse at 30-1, discard the formulator fact, because you're getting your price. 0 for 29 for Randy Persaud, past 5 years, 2-year-old second-time starters in dirt sprints. The number 10 is Dark Ops, and I have a feeling that Dark Ops is going to take a lot of money in this spot. A $290,000 buyback by Bernardini, and the word on the street is that he's been working in company with Lady Ivanka, who won first time out for Rodriguez with an 81 buyer earlier this meet.
Yeah, definitely. Dark Ops, I think, for those who are paying attention to the work tab, is going to take a lot of play for that reason. He comes in off a bullet work. Obviously, everybody will know the sire. Everybody will see the price that he sold for. Revolutionary Act, the dam, a stakes-winning sprinter. She's the dam of stakes winner Night Party, who is multiple graded, placed going longer. Stakes winner American Act, a multiple graded placed sprinter. A lot of class in the family.
A lot of class in the pedigree, some speed as well. The damn multiple stakes winning sprinter won her career debut. Very logical horse, the 10 Dark Ops, considering the connections, the pedigree, and the workouts. Where are you going in race number 5 at the Spa?
This one's hard. Smokin Platinum, I think, is very formidable. Even if he takes a step backward, as you referenced off that debut, I think, he's shown speed that's well above par for this field. I'm going to take a look and watch the toe on Dark Ops. I think he's just training lights out. If you like the favorite, I think you do have to look at Lookin' Ready, who comes out of that same maiden. As we said, this is perhaps a little bit of a longer turf-oriented type pedigree, but certainly ran well enough on debut to merit a look here, maybe at a little bit of value. And I think Panama Ed would be your long shot play. Just a very interesting profile on this horse, how he took a step forward second time out.
The 7 Smokin Platinum, I agree with you, the horse to beat, even with a slight regression on speed figures, 5-2 on Travis Stone's morning line. That seems fair to me. I think he's the horse to beat. He'd be my top selection. I'd use him over the 3 Painters Prize. I have a feeling that there's enough speed on the bottom of this pedigree that he'll be okay for Charlie Baker first time out, and I think he'll be sort of lost in the shuffle from a wagering standpoint. He's 15-1 on the morning line with Jose Ortiz aboard. The 10 Dark Ops is a horse I'd be using as well. I'd be going 7-3, 10, and 1 in race number 5 at Saratoga. It is our Spa Babies race for Thursday, and it's presented by WinStar Farm. Good luck.